everyone, it's Carolyn and welcome back to Contemporary Mama. Today is part 2 of my freezer cooking series. You guys really seemed to enjoy my last video, so I have decided to make this a monthly series. So if you aren't already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe with your bell notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of my freezer cooking content. So today I'm going to be making 3 freezer meals. The first one is going to be a dump and go crock pot meal, a cranberry mustard pork tenderloin in the slow cooker, some freezer friendly baked oatmeal cups, and then I am also going to be preparing some freezer friendly individually portioned lasagnas. So if that sounds good to you, then just keep on watching. So I'm gonna get started with my cranberry mustard pork tenderloin. And the first thing that I like to do is label my freezer bag. That way I know exactly what's in it and it's not gonna get lost in my deep freezer. And I buy these big gallon size freezer bags at the dollar store, so they're super inexpensive. So I just like to put the date on it as well as what is in it, and then as the cooking instructions as well, so I don't have to remember any information. So the prep for this is super simple, and I am going to be doubling everything, FYI, because I'm going to be making 2 servings. So to get started, I'm just going to dice up 2 onions, and then I'm going to grab 2 oranges, zest them, and then juice them. So now that I have all my ingredients prepped, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble my meals. So what I like to do to make freezer cooking super easy is to just double recipes that I know are gonna freeze really well. So while I'm going ahead and making dinner just on any old night, it takes almost no extra prep time to double the ingredients and stick one of those meals in the freezer. I know some people enjoy spending a whole day creating 10, 20, 30 freezer meals. I've tried that before and I find it absolutely exhausting. My kitchen is a bomb and I just don't want to do it again. So this process of just doubling meals that I'm cooking anyways works really well for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and make one for dinner tonight in my crock pot and stick one of them in this freezer bag for another meal, days, weeks, or even a month or 2 later. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray my slow cooker so that I can get this going. And I'm gonna start by adding my pork into the crock pot. Now, as far as the pork that you wanna use, you can use anything that you want, a pork loin, a shoulder, a butt, whatever, you know, floats your boat, whatever is on sale. Pork loin was on sale at my grocery store, so that's what I'm using. Mine is 2.5 pounds, but you can go up to 4 pounds with the same amount of ingredients if that suits your family's needs better. So I have 2 pounds of pork in here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 pounds, or 2.5 pounds, mine are, into the freezer bag. Okay, so now that the pork is in there, I'm just gonna go ahead and give mine a little bit of extra seasoning. This wasn't in the original recipe, but it just seems wrong for me to not salt and pepper something. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that in both of my meals. And then all I have to do is go ahead and divide all those ingredients that I just prepped. So I'm gonna sprinkle in that super flavorful orange zest. This is gonna give so much flavor to the pork. And most of us just go ahead and throw it away. So it's like when we're eating oranges, so it's almost like extra flavoring for free. Then I'm just gonna pour half of that fresh orange juice I just squeezed. And then divide up the onions and the cranberries. So this is 1 onion for each meal. And then we're gonna divide up the cranberries. The recipe called for 2 cups. I'm just gonna use a bag because I really like cranberries. I love the flavor of them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a bag each. But you can use more or less depending on, you know, what you prefer. This is totally customizable. Now this is a cranberry mustard pork, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a tablespoon of mustard. I'm using Dijon. You can use brown mustard. I mean, probably you could use any mustard that you have. You don't have to go ahead and buy Dijon mustard if, you know, you don't have it. And then the very last ingredient is half a cup of brown sugar. So that I'm gonna sprinkle right on top. This is gonna add such a great sweetness. All right, so how long did that take? You saw me do it in real time, just a couple of minutes, and I have 2 dinners ready to go. So my crock pot cooks sort of fast, so I'm gonna cook this for probably about 6 hours on low. The recipe called for 8 hours on low, but my pork is always done earlier than 8 hours. But go ahead and check yours with the thermometer if you're not really sure how long yours is gonna cook, but plan for about 6 hours on low, and then obviously you can cut that in half if you wanna cook it on high. Once I popped the lid on the crock pot, I remembered that I forgot to add that half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Thank goodness I remembered because it gave it so much great flavor. I was gonna serve this slice, but it came out so tender that it almost shredded itself, so I served it over some rice and broccoli. And then this is what my gallon-sized freezer bag looks like with all of my yummy pork ingredients in there. This is gonna go in my deep freezer, and then I'll pull it out when I know I'm gonna have a busy day and I'm not gonna have time to cook. Next up, I'm gonna be making these freezer-friendly baked oatmeal cups. These were absolutely delicious. They're super healthy and good for you. I love having them on hand for breakfast. So to get started, I'm just mixing together all the dry ingredients in a large bowl. Now in a separate bowl, you're going to mix together all your wet ingredients. And the recipe calls for half a cup of mashed fruit. So you could use anything really, mashed banana, applesauce, or I'm using canned pumpkin. You really can't taste the flavor, so use whatever you have on hand. It's only going to be used as a binding agent, not for flavor. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees before I went ahead and stirred in all the wet ingredients into the dry ones. Now, if you're not going to be using muffin tin liners, then just spray down your muffin tin with nonstick spray before dividing the mixture. And again, I've doubled this recipe so that I can have tons of them to store in my freezer. I bake them for about 30 minutes until they're golden brown. After I let them cool in the pan for 5 minutes, I let them cool completely on a cooling rack.
I kept about 7 or 8 in a Tupperware to eat throughout the week, and the rest I wrapped up in plastic wrap before putting it in a freezer bag to store in my freezer. These are super easy to reheat. You just microwave them for 30 to 60 seconds, and then you have a warm, nutritious breakfast, perfect for on the go.
So it's the next day and I'm gonna be wrapping up my freezer cooking by making some freezer-friendly, easy weeknight lasagnas. So just like the other day, I am going to be making a tray of lasagna for my family to eat for dinner tonight and freezing some individual sized portions in these little aluminum pans. I prefer not to make another full tray of lasagna so that I can just pull out 1 or 2 of these and we have the absolute perfect amount for however many people we're gonna be serving for dinner. So I'm gonna get started by showing you the ingredients, and before anyone says anything, I mentioned this is an easy weeknight lasagna. This is not the lasagna you make for your Sunday supper. This has all the shortcuts possible to make this super easy. You can put this together so fast, I promise you. All right, so over here I have my pan that I'm gonna be making my lasagna in for tonight. I'm gonna be making 4 mini individually portioned, well, I guess they're enough for 2 people, but mini lasagna pans. Now for my cheese mixture, I have a big container of ricotta cheese and I love putting in parsley and basil. I'm also going to be adding in some spinach. I love buying the frozen chopped spinach because it's so cheap. This is only like $1. So I let that thaw and then I squeeze out all the moisture before I add it to my lasagna so it doesn't make it watery. Now for cheese, I have some shredded Parmesan cheese, shredded mozzarella cheese, and then I like topping my mozzarella with fresh mozzarella. I just think it gives it like such a nice topping. So I have some fresh mozzarella for the top. And then for my meat sauce, I like doing a combination of sausage and ground beef. You can use like any meat that you want, any ground meat. It really doesn't matter. Ground turkey, chicken sausage, you know, whatever you prefer. And then again, I told you this is an easy weeknight lasagna, so I'm using jarred sauce. I like this one by Ragu because it has no sugar added and it, you know, is a pretty good price. And then again, another shortcut that I'm gonna use is using these no-boil lasagna sheets. I don't know how they do it. These are amazing. You don't have to boil them. You just stick them in as they are from the box. So you can make lasagna so fast with these. I hate boiling lasagna noodles. So I'm gonna be doing a combination of these for my family and then these palmini lasagna sheets for me. I do try and eat low carb most of the time. So these are like a low carb, you can see there's only 4 grams of carbs, lasagna alternative. So I'm gonna get to work and show you how I put this all together super fast.
So to get started, I'm just gonna add my ground meat to the pan and break it up as it browns.
So now that my meat is all browned, I'm just gonna go ahead and add in 2 jars of sauce to it and then just stir this up for a little while so that it's really well combined. And I'm just gonna let this simmer on low so that all the flavors can combine. And while this is simmering, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare that ricotta cheese mixture. So this is that frozen spinach that I showed you earlier. It was pretty much thawed, but I did microwave it for a minute just so it was, you know, completely thawed. And there is so much water in something like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead, stick it in some paper towels and squeeze out all the moisture. This is really important to do if you're adding in any cooked vegetables into your lasagna because you don't want your lasagna getting watery. So just go ahead and squeeze the heck out of it, get out all the moisture, and then you'll be ready to get layering.
So this is all the water that came out of that spinach. Look at how much there is. It's crazy. So I'm so glad that this is in this bowl and not going to be in my lasagna, because that would totally ruin the texture of it. Now I'm just chopping up a handful of fresh herbs. I like using basil and parsley. So as you saw, I just chopped up those herbs, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mix those into the ricotta cheese. And then seriously, guys, that's it. I'm ready to start making my lasagna. This is so quick and easy. Lasagna always, you know, people think that it's super time consuming. There's so many steps to it, and there are. But if you are just willing to take a few shortcuts, you can have lasagna any night of the week, and it's not gonna take you that long.
All right, so we're ready for our lasagna lineup. I'm gonna start with my freezer ones. So I'm gonna grab my little mini pan. These are also perfect for lasagna roll-ups as well, but I'm just gonna do regular lasagna. I'm just gonna grab a little scoop of my meat sauce. And then, can you put one of these in, honey? Layer in one of my no-boil lasagna noodles. Just stick it in there, like that. Perfect. It's the absolute perfect size. So now I'm just gonna add a little bit more of my meat sauce on top, and then scoop on all my yummy toppings. So I'm gonna give a little bit of the ricotta mixture. Spread that out. A little more. A little bit of spinach. Do you want to put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on? I like doing a tiny sprinkle of both Parmesan and mozzarella cheese in each layer. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process until it's all filled up. So now that my freezer lasagnas are all done, I'm gonna make one for dinner tonight. 1, 2, 3. So here's my lasagna ready to go in the oven for dinner tonight, topped with my fresh mozzarella. Now, if you were curious what those palmini lasagna noodles are like, these are them. They're pretty small, but the texture seems pretty good. I'm very excited to try this out, and I will let you know how it bakes up. So for dinner tonight, I did palmini lasagna on this side, regular, those oven ready classic lasagna noodles on the left side for my husband, and that's it. My freezer cooking is done. I'm so excited. Let me show you it all. All right, so here's everything, my lasagna for dinner tonight. My 4 perfectly portioned lasagnas that are gonna go in my freezer. I'm just gonna cover these with foil, make sure I label them with what they are, which type of lasagna they are, and the cooking instructions. About 350 degrees for an hour is what I usually do. My cranberry mustard pork from yesterday is ready to go into my freezer. I usually just pull this out the night before so it can thaw a bit overnight in the fridge, and then I just pop it in the crock pot in the morning. It's okay if it's still a little bit frozen. And then my freezer-friendly baked oatmeal muffins. These are individually wrapped in plastic wrap. Just pop them in the microwave for 30 to 60 seconds and you have a healthy, delicious breakfast on the go. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. You got some great ideas for some freezer-friendly meals that you can make quick and easy any night of the week. These are absolutely perfect to bring as a gift for a mom who just had a new baby, or maybe someone who's going through a difficult time in their life and you want to bring them a meal. These are all great because if they're receiving a lot of those types of meals, they can just stick them in the freezer and pull them out whenever they may need them. So like I mentioned before, this is going to be a monthly series, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future freezer cooking videos. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you on Tuesday with a brand new video. Bye!